Victor raised his glass like a judge, delivering a sentence. Avery did it all on her own. Then he looked at me, Noah Bennett, like I was a stain he couldn't scrub out. The room froze. My mother, Grace, stopped mid-serve and something sharp lodged under my ribs. I said, calm as a cut, then I'm done sending money. His face drained. Money? What money? 32 years of being the quiet daughter cracked in one breath. From the street, we're picture perfect. Inside, I'm the invisible paycheck, the apology machine, the girl who learned to swallow to keep the peace and choked on it. If you were me right there at that table, what would you do? Tell me in the comments. Hit like if this hit a nerve. Subscribe if you've ever been made to feel small in your own family. Because tonight, I stopped being small. I swear the fork hit the plate louder than it should have. 1 second, my dad, Victor, was raising his glass, smiling like a game show host. And the next, he dropped the line that split the room. Avery did it all on her own. He made eye contact with me, slow and deliberate, like he was sliding a knife across a plate just to hear it squeal. My mother, Grace, froze mid-serve. The rosemary steam curled up and vanished. And something in me that had been trained for 32 years to stay quiet suddenly didn't. I'm done sending money, I said. Calm, clean, like signing my name. His glass didn't shatter, but his face did. Money? What money? Those 3 words were a lifetime of gaslight in a little gift box, tied with family ribbon. If you've ever been the peacekeeper, the apology machine, the walking duct tape for a household, drop a like so I know I'm not talking into the dark. Because in that moment, I realized my silence had been paying the bills more than my bank transfers ever could. Here's the part that makes people mad, including me. I'd been wiring $5,000 on the 1st of every month since last April. I sent it to my sister Avery's account because Dad did not trust online banking, and the money was for the mortgage, so my parents, who raised us on tight dinners and tighter smiles, could keep the lights on. And every month I got a 2-word text from Avery, handled it. You know what handled it means when the house still looks tired? It means you're funding a lie. I pulled out my phone and slid the confirmations across the table. Every month, the first, $60,000 total. The way the room changed temperature like a church door opening in winter. Mom stared at the screen, then at Avery. Dad switched to that low, dangerous voice. You mean to tell me we never saw a cent? Avery's fork skittered. There were delays, investments, you wouldn't understand. That last part was aimed at me, it always was. I'm the safe one, the spreadsheet sister, the girl who holds her breath so everyone else can breathe. Shock line incoming, Deb, because it hit me like a backhand. It's not stealing if it's an investment. Avery said it flat like she'd practiced. That sentence still crawls under my skin at night. Tell me in the comments, would that make your blood run hot? Because my father's knuckles went white on the table edge. And my mother did the saddest thing a mother can do. She defended the lie with a whisper. Maybe it's complicated. Complicated? Complicated as math homework. This was betrayal with a manicure. I scanned the room, the good plates, the framed smiles, the photo above the fireplace where we all look airbrushed into happiness. And I felt the desert of all the times I'd swallowed hurt so dinner wouldn't taste like it. Believing in family shouldn't be unsafe, I said, and I meant it. Safe is not silence, and as safe is truth. Dad pressed again, and now Avery snapped. You never believe in anything unless it's safe, Noah. She wanted me to be the problem, the cautious one, the one who never bets. Here's the hook, lean in, I did bet. I bet on my family, I bet every month, 5,000 chips, 12 hands. And the house, the literal one, still sagged at the seams. Where did the money go? That night, nobody slept. The fridge hummed like a judge. I lay in my old room under plastic stars that used to glow brighter when I believed in things. In the hallway, soft crying. In the guest room, Dad pacing trenches into the carpet. Avery's door closed like a vault. You want a gut punchline? Here, I felt like counterfeit love. Every transfer had my name on it, and not one thank you stuck to the wall. By morning, the chairs were still warm from fear. Mom stood by the window, robe tied tight, eyes red. Dad had the stack of mail he'd stopped trusting. We'll talk to her when she wakes up, he said. We didn't get that chance. Avery was gone. Car missing, closet wiped, a sticky note on the dresser. Don't overreact, I'll fix it. Don't overreact? I laughed. One sharp sound that didn't feel like me. Here's another shock line, and I'm not sorry. You don't get to call theft ambition. I kissed my mother's hair, told her to drink water, and opened my laptop. Enough was enough. If you've been the family firewall, you know this feeling, the click where you decide to stop taking flames and start tracing the spark. And if any of this hits a nerve, comment, I hear you. Share this with one person who needs permission to draw a line. Because that morning, I didn't just draw one, I carved it into the table. Smooth pivot to what came next. I turned from the kitchen window, sun catching dust like confetti from a party no one wanted, and I thought, track the money, find the lie, pull the thread. And I pulled. I started with the basics. Aheads, dates, amounts, texts. The anatomy of a lie always has bones. You just have to learn where to press. First, I called the bank and asked to meet in person. No more trust in screens, right? The branch manager clicked through my transfers and tilted the monitor so I could see. She didn't know she was about to change my life with one line. Funds were redirected from Avery's account to an intermediary. To who? My voice sounded steady. My hands did not. She hesitated. A man named Mason Vale. When she said his name, something in me locked into place, like a blueprint snapping into alignment. I didn't know Mason yet, but the syllables felt slippery, like a person who leaves no fingerprints, just smudges. I thanked her, stepped into the January air, and made myself a promise. I wouldn't let shame do the talking anymore. Shame says, stay quiet. Justice says, get loud in the right rooms. I went home and pulled everything. Avery's handled it texts, the time she ignored calls, the random hashtags about building something big on her socials. The pattern was obvious once I stopped making excuses. Money in on the first, money out to Mason within hours. And the house. Still losing paint like a peeling lie. Then the doorbell rang. Early, the kind of hour people choose when they want to control the scene. I opened the door to a guy in a hoodie and clean sneakers. He had that practice smile I've seen on pitch decks. Confident, breezy, hollow. Morning, he said. You must be Noah. I'm Mason. He said his own name like a brand. Behind me, Dad's footsteps slowed. He came to my shoulder. What are you doing here? Mason held up a folder like a peace treaty. Just clearing up a misunderstanding. Helena, sorry, Avery, asked me to drop off proof of our investment. He breezed in without waiting for an invite, laying out glossy mock-ups, charts with arrows that only go up, buzzwords arranged like wallpaper, scalable, disruptive, MVP, beta. If you've ever sat through a pitch that smells like hairspray and hope, you know the type. Shock line ready. Every big thing starts small, yeah, Mason said. 60,000 small? I shot back. Because the fridge still hums like it's dying and the mortgage didn't pay itself. He kept smiling, but his eyes measured me like a problem to be managed. Mom hovered at the edge, wringing in a dish towel. Dad flipped pages, getting angrier by the minute. This, he said, tapping a chart, is nonsense. Mason shifted casual. You don't speak the language. I leaned in. I do, it's called math. Right then, tires crunched in the driveway. Avery's white sedan. She walked in with sunglasses on like shield glass. Her coat looked expensive, painfully so. She saw Mason in the folder and her face cracked. What are you doing here, yeah, babe? Mason softened instantly, every syllable rehearsed. I told you I'd fix it. Dad's voice low enough to rattle the floorboards. You took your sister's money and lied to us. Avery's chin trembled, but she clung to the word that had become her religion. It was an investment. Shock line. It's not stealing if it's an investment. I watched my mother fold in on herself like paper. We skipped payments because we trusted you, she whispered. If that doesn't make your chest burn, share this with someone who needs to hear it. Trust without boundaries isn't love, it's erosion. I turned to Mason. What's your real job? He smirked. I'm an entrepreneur. I slid my phone across the table, a message from a woman with a tired smile and a toddler on her hip. Strange, I said. Your last venture left you behind on child support. His mouth twitched. Avery jolted. Mason? He said the sentence that outs every liar. I didn't lie, I just didn't tell you everything. Translation. I kept the part that would have changed your answer. Here's where I confess something I'm proud of. An hour before he showed up, I called the police, not because I wanted a scene, because I wanted a record. Family loyalty ends where criminality begins. If you agree, drop a comment that says boundaries. We heard the sirens a beat later, and Mason's eyes flicked to the window. "What did you do?" he hissed. Returning the favor, I said, "You took our money in silence." I called for help out loud. 2 officers stepped in. Mason Vale. He tried to chuckle, like charm could file the cuffs open. It couldn't. When they turned him, he looked smaller. He threw a last whisper at me meant to bruise. "You think you've won? There's always another version of me." I met his eyes. I hope she finds another version of me, too. The door shut. The house finally exhaled. Avery collapsed into a chair, hands shaking, mascara tracing the gravity of bad choices. Dad leaned on the counter, pale with something between rage and grief. Mom cried like a faucet with the stripped handle. No off switch. And me, I stood there with my heart pounding and realized a strange truth. This was the first loud thing I'd ever done for myself. If you've ever been told your calm is weakness, hit like. Calm isn't weak, it's aim. Transition time, because the next part is where the system caught up with the story. Evidence surfaced, other women stepped forward, and the lessons that were supposed to be complicated weren't complicated at all. They were consequences. Ready? Court isn't lactate. It's fluorescent lights and coffee breath and time moving like gum. But it does something holy. It names things. The prosecutor laid out the pattern. Deposits, withdrawals, the pretty deck full of empty promises. 5 women came forward with the same story stitched in different thread. When my sister Avery took the stand, her hand shook but her voice didn't break. She said the hard part out loud. "I use my sister's transfers as seed money. I squeeze my knees to stay steady, shock line that still scrapes my bones. I believed in him more than I believed in the people who believed in me. I don't hate her for that. I hate the lie that taught her to think love means never questioning a man with a plan." Mason took a deal, 3 years, 18 months before parole. No hero music, no vindication dance. Just the sound of a stamp hidden paper. When the bailiff led him past our row, he looked for Avery. She looked at the exit sign. That was the only sermon the room needed. If this gives you even a sliver of relief, like the ache under a bruise easing, share this story. Someone standing in that courtroom right now, alone in a crowd. Afterward, we stepped into winter sun that felt cleaner than it had any right to. Dad found my hand under the edge of his coat. "I'm proud of you, Noah," he said. Not the performative proud, not the comparison proud, the real kind that lands and stays. I almost laughed because it hurt so good. Mom cried quiet, little grateful sounds, the kind you hear when a long storm finally passes and you can sleep with the window open again. At home, we started doing small, unspectacular things that felt like rebuilding. Mom opened the curtains before noon and let the light lay across the kitchen tile. Dad fixed the loose railing on the porch he'd been stepping around for a year. I changed the password on the family myth that said, "The quiet one isn't strong." Shock line because I want you to feel the click I felt. I'm not your wallet with a heartbeat. Avery got a job downtown answering phones, scheduling, coping. It wasn't Instagram worthy, which might be the best thing about it. She stopped wearing armor, no more perfect hair, no more perfume you could smell before you saw her, no more sentences that started with, "Soon when it takes off." Now she started sentences with, "I'm sorry," and then "thank you," and then occasionally, "I was wrong." If you've ever waited years to hear those 3, tap like so I know I'm not alone. One night we held a small private ritual in the backyard. I brought a box, text printed out, screenshots, the fake charts, a note that said, "Handled it." Avery stood beside me, sleeves pushed up, eyes rimmed pink but present. "You sure?" I asked. She nodded. I struck a match. Paper curls fast when it knows it's over. We watched the smoke rise and braid itself into the cold. "He took so much from me," she said. "Then don't give him another inch," I answered. "That's a line I want you to borrow. Put it in your pocket. Use it when a taker comes smiling." The house grew a different kind of quiet, the kind that doesn't hide bruises, that lets laughter return without apologizing for being loud. Dad started walking in the mornings, shoulders finally not glued to his ears. Mom planted herbs with Avery, and every time I smelled rosemary, it didn't punch me back into that dinner. It pulled me forward into something honest. One evening, my father sat across from me while I sorted bills. "We made her like this," he said softly. "We kept calling her special until she thought she couldn't fail." I could have thrown the line back at him. Instead, I said the truest thing I had. "When we all played a part, we're fixing it now." He nodded. Grace, actual Grace, sat down with us. A month later, I packed for Seattle. New job, new skyline. Not running, moving. There's a difference. The morning I left, Avery walked me to the car and slipped an envelope into my hand. Inside was a photo of us at a county fair. Gap teeth, sticky cheeks, cotton candy like clouds in our fists. On the back, she'd written, "Sometimes you have to lose everything to see what's worth keeping." It didn't absolve the past, it honored the lesson. Here's my ask, and I'm asking because community is how we keep lies small. If this story made you angry in the right way, hit like so the algorithm doesn't bury it. Drop a comment. What's the boundary you wish you'd set 5 years sooner? Share this with a friend who always pays and never gets credit. We change family culture, one brave sentence at a time. Final shock line to carry with you: it's not stealing if it's an investment. That's what she said when she was drowning. Here's what I say now that we're on shore: it's not love if it costs your self-respect. And tonight, in a new city with a smaller apartment and a lighter chest, I can finally hear the best quiet of all, the kind that comes after the truth. I'm in Seattle now. Smaller apartment, louder heartbeat. Some nights I still hear Victor's glass tap the table, Grace's breath catch, Avery's, "It's not stealing if it's an investment." Then I remember the moment I finally said no, and how the house started breathing again. Here's what I know: love without boundaries is just permission for someone to keep taking. I drew a line, I kept us honest, but tell me straight, am I in the wrong? Did I blow up the peace, or did I stop pretending there was any? The lesson that stuck to my ribs: silence is expensive. It costs self-respect first, then money, then the parts of you that laugh easily. My boundary didn't end our family, it redesigned it. Grace opens the curtains. Victor says he's proud without a comparison. Avery works, apologizes, tries again. Me, I forgive, but I don't fund denial. If this story hit something tender, do me a favor, tap like so it reaches someone who needs a push. Drop a comment. What line would you draw today if you believed you were worth protecting? Share this with the friend who pays for peace, and subscribe if you want more messy, honest stories told with the lights on. We heal faster together.